All right, welcome back to the Pure Playbook. I'm Dr. Dustin Bosson with the Dr. Nate Merhaut. We have also brought Sam from behind the camera and mixing on the 1-2s over there. So we're going to have Sam in on this. It's going to be a super fun episode where we are going to go over kind of some impromptu questions. So coming off of vacation, and full disclaimer here, it's like, yes, we did not produce a podcast over our vacation time. We just didn't. And then we come back, and last week we record this podcast, and did not format correctly. So here we are. We've had a 2-week hiatus, but we're going to do some impromptu questions right off the top. Sam's going to read these out. This should be good. There's going to be a lot of information in here. It's probably going to lead to more questions and comments. So if you guys have any questions and comments while we're going through this, make sure that you leave a comment or reach out. We'd love to answer them for you or dive a little more deep into some of these questions. We have no idea what they are. So Sam's got all the questions piled up over there. We have not seen them or looked at them, other than the fact that I don't even remember what you asked last week. So I guess we have seen them and heard them, but I can't remember all of them. So, but let's jump in. This could be injury related. This could be functional. This could be really anything as regards to student athletes and their parents trying to keep up. That's the information we're shooting for here, all in an effort to protect and build student athletes better, right? So, Sam,
hey guys,
lead us off. Fire away.
Happy to be in front of the camera for a second time in this podcast career, which is very exciting. I have a mix of fun ones and some serious ones and a little bit of rapid fire, but I'm going to start off with one that I think is really going to set the tone for today. What is one health myth that you wish would die already? Just go away completely.
Yeah. I remember this question now.
I don't remember what I said. There's a lot of them.
Yeah. So I will say the one that I sometimes will get passionate about is that utilizing your insurance is not always the best route from a treatment standpoint, from a quality of care standpoint, from even getting you from point A to point B and providing you the services that you should get. And a perfect example of this is someone was talking the other day. It was actually an MD, and he's out of network, and he was saying that you can get the same labs from him for about $20 that you went through an in-network provider and then ended up getting the bill later on for $700. So just understanding what the differences are, why there's sometimes more of a benefit to go out of network and utilize those benefits, or not even utilize those benefits, but just pay more of a cash rate because it's going to be less of a fee. And you can even speak on this because of your daughter and some of the scenarios you guys have been through with if you would have had insurance, what the story would have been versus you didn't utilize insurance and it was, much less cost.
Yeah. I mean, I can run through that real quick. I mean, because here's the thing is like a lot of people pay a good amount of money every month out of their pocket. Right. They pay their premium. And, back in the 80s and 90s, I do remember this now, back in the 80s and 90s when there was a few different healthcare plans and you knew what they were. It's like I have Blue Cross, I have UHC, and there was 3 different plans and you knew one of them was going to fall. Right. So great. Well, nowadays it's a little different. So my daughter, she is almost 4. She'll be 4 in a couple of weeks now. And so she broke her leg in January. Unfortunately, wife fell, ends up breaking her leg on ice, slipped on the ice, broke her leg. So we go to here. We were in St. Louis area. We went to WashU, one of the ortho or the on-call ortho urgent care places. Went in, and long story short, we started, here's the price, here's the bills in the mail and things like that. And we told them from the beginning we didn't have insurance. We don't have health insurance for certain reasons. You can ask us about that later. But there's a whole lot of cash price discounts on the receipt. There was price adjustments. So what might have costed somewhere around $2,800 for x-rays and a visit in a cast was something like $280 something. Now, every case and scenario is different, but that's very real things. And we weren't, bound to the constraints of insurance and things like that. So we knew what to expect. We knew what to pay. And that's just how we choose to go about that. And there's reasons to do that. There's also a lot of great reasons to have insurance as long as they actually do what they say they're going to do. Right. So just know that, a cash practice does not mean we're trying to make more money. We're just trying to make it easier. We're trying to be unconfined and unbound to those standards that insurance sets and make sure you get the care you need. Everybody's had this scenario where PT visits have run out, or that doctor was not under contract with insurance, but that was the only anesthesiologist there.
Right.
And that's just something that will never happen in our office. But so on my side of things, away from that a little bit, to answer your question, would be oftentimes it's stretch, it's strengthen, it's lengthen, it's mobilize, it's flexibility, and it's rub, roll, poke, prod, needle, all those things. And there's a level of those things that are great. However, it's not necessarily fixing the problem. And the myth is, it's like, oh, mobilize, strengthen, lengthen, all those things. We're not looking at structure. So the fact that we're making that a precedent over looking at structure first, like, that myth has to go. I don't care what the muscle feels like. I don't care what's in spasm. I understand that it's there. However, how often do we look at the structure first as a mode of what is going on? What's the root cause?
Right.
So,
yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Now we're going to go back in time a little bit. If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of health advice, what would it be? Especially since you were both elite level athletes.
Yeah, I remember what I said on this one too.
Yeah.
So my answer went along the lines of supplementation, nutrition, that kind of stuff, where I used to have the mindset, especially as an athlete, that if I just ate well, then I would get everything I needed from a nutrition standpoint,
Right.
as well as needing to build muscle and repair tissues and all those kinds of things. I have learned over the years, especially with education and continuing education, as well as my own experience with myself, that one, food is not what it used to be.
Yeah.
And the nutrient quality and nutrient density of foods is not what grandma and grandpa used to eat. So the ingredients and all that stuff, if you look at labels, it's going to be a lot different. So you can't always get what you need, especially when you're an athlete. You need a bunch of other things from a performance standpoint, as well as a repair standpoint and muscle building, that just through your regular diet. And I will stand strong on that now, that there has to be some form of supplementation to be, one, preventative for a lot of injuries. And we've talked about that, and we can get a whole podcast on that, on what to do nutritionally from a preventative standpoint for a lot of the injuries that student athletes deal with regularly, as well as training and building muscle and overall metabolic health too. So there are things, even like vitamin D is a perfect example of the majority of the population is not getting enough D through their diet, as well as sun exposure. And then if you even have a problem with synthesizing the vitamin D through sun exposure, you're even at a deficit even more. So supplementing with a high quality, supplement would be ideal for that kind of a person. So that's where I would say I would want that bit of knowledge as a young athlete.
Yeah, you can look at cereal boxes, mac and cheese, chicken nuggets. You can look at all these things that we ate when we were kids, and even our parents ate when they were kids. Get some of the boxes and ingredient lists from the exact same things that we're eating now. They ain't the same things. Yeah. And so, and to your point, I've always said, let's not supplement nonsensically.
Right.
And so there's ways to really dial that in. But yeah, especially now, the quality of food and things like that.
On that note, before you get into yours, also not just supplementing for the cases just a supplement because so-and-so's doing it and they said, oh yeah, I'm taking creatine or I'm taking protein and you should take it because I see these gains and these results. Supplementation is also very specific. Yeah. And you should dial it in. If you have, a way to get blood work that's specific to you, that's one of the best ways to dial it in and figure out what you need to take.
Yeah. No, 100%. I would say mine would be, and I do remember what I said, but it was along the lines of, don't skip the small stuff, the injury prevention, you go to school, right after school you have practice, right after practice you don't want to do homework, or you go home or whatever, or maybe you don't want to go home and you make your night even longer and you get home at 9:30, 10 o'clock after hanging out with your buddies, and then but it's like, what if you spent some of that, even just half hour at a time, with some of the things that we do here with the injury prevention and the bulletproofing and the things that seem mundane, right? And it's just like, oh, I do that again, do my band stretches. And it's like those kinds of things we kind of poke holes in too. Is it's like everybody knows, like pitchers are a perfect example. It's like, oh, do this and this and this, and you're doing all these band stretches and you're just whipping through them real quick and the band's going whoop, 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 whoop. It's like, okay, that didn't really do anything for you. But taking time for the things that seem mundane, that seem super repetitive and monotonous, I guess you will.
Yeah.
And take that seriously, because you think you're you think you're Superman now, and you're all bulletproofed up, and you're young and you're resilient until it happens. Even just a rolled ankle, or maybe it's tendonitis, or maybe whatever it is, or heaven forbid you have a surgery. But doing those things, the small things that seem this again, do those twice as good as you would do anything else.
All right. I know the answer to this next question, but what is one test or scan, or not scan, but lab every athlete should be doing, but most aren't? Say it with me. Ready? 1, 2.
The Pure Athlete
Evaluation. Yes.
Yeah, so call us bias. I mean, when it comes to some sort of data, some sort of exam, some sort of evaluation, an exam and evaluation needs to, here's another myth. When you get hurt, you should have an exam or evaluation done. No, before you ever get hurt, you should have an exam or evaluation done.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we've created the Pure Athlete Evaluation. I'll touch on it real quick. It's an inside look into the student athlete, or even the older athletes we have doing it now too. That gives you structural and physical evaluation, gives you ortho and neuro evaluation, it gives you tech and data, and it really gives us a 4-dimensional look inside the athlete, inside and out. It's not based on pain. It should never be based on pain. Get those things dialed in now and understand what you have inside and out.
Right.
To see is to know, not to see is to guess. And if you want to play the reactive side, more time, more money, less playing time, could be devastating, medications, potential surgeries. It's like, we already know 50+% of some of these things that we're seeing now can be prevented. 80% of injuries are non-contact. So it's like, what makes you more susceptible? What happens if you go buy a new car, or a used car, a new to you car? It's like, you just go, oh, that one looks pretty. Take it. Oh, it's got the big engine in it. I got it. That's mine. And it's like, hang on a second. Does it have any oil in it? Does it have a history? Does it have, you're going to do all of these. You're going to examine this thing inside and out before you do it. And so we take care of our vehicles better than we take care of ourselves. So get that evaluation done. Get that 156-point inspection done on yourself. And that's why we've created that. So between digital x-rays, motion studies, technology that we hook to the athlete, there's even another dimension of the blood work that you're talking about that ideally we're going to make more mandatory to be a part of the Pure Athlete process, all in efforts to make sure that we're protecting and building student athletes better.
Yeah. I think it's definitely the structural component that not a lot of people are getting in most places is one of the things I think you answered actually when we first talked about this, was getting a structural evaluation, because you won't know what it is until you actually take the films and see it. And then I think I answered more along the lines of the blood work, because again, it's one of those things where you don't have to have pain, you don't have to have symptoms for labs to be out of whack. You don't have to have pain and symptoms for your structure to be off. And so just because you feel okay doesn't mean you're actually okay.
How many athletes have we had come in here, look at the structure, and had no idea they have curves of their spine?
Yep. Parents are just like jaw drop kind of a thing, and they didn't even realize.
No idea they had scoliosis.
Along those lines, what is one overlooked root cause of pain or injury that we see here with the Pure Athlete every week? Maybe not just in our athletes, but maybe in our general clientele as well.
I'll say what I said again originally, and I'll let him go on his rant that he always goes on after me. But the gut health would be the thing that I was talking about. And gut health there can be a lot of underlying health issues that are linked to gut health. And then there can also be that gut brain connection where, whether you're dealing with an injury, you're, depressed, you're dealing with relationship issues, those kind of things, it can be tied back to your gut. And there are research articles out there that show different strains that can be linked to obesity, weight gain, weight loss, performance, and different diseases. So knowing that, back to the nutrition and supplementation conversation that I had, of food is not the same quality as it is. And it's also being sprayed with things and chemicals that wasn't being sprayed on it before, glyphosate being one of them, that can tear your stomach apart. And not just your stomach, but your intestinal lining all the way through your large and small intestines, which I mentioned this cool fun fact, and I'll bring it up again, is that you have more bacteria in those cells in your body than you do any other cell. So skin tissue, muscle, bone, brain tissue, nervous system, there's more bacteria in your body than there are cells combined, which is crazy.
And then I just hammer on the structural side.
Mhm.
There's a lot of things that just people don't know, and it's one of the analogies I use is like no different than the new to me used car. That was pretty good right off the top. Write that one down. You guys can hold on to that one. But the other one is like build your dream house on a faulty foundation, or buy your dream house. You know, you moved in from out of town.
Right.
Oh man, I found it. This is perfect. Couldn't ask for anything better. Boom. And what's the foundation look like? Like, did you walk inside and out? Did you have that inspection done? It's like, you know, to build your dream house on an improper foundation just does not make sense. And now these are our kids we're talking about. These are athletes that are people that we're talking about. These are careers that are, it's not, oh, they get to play sports. It's like, that's also how they make money. It's a little asinine how much they make anymore, but it's just like, that's their livelihood, and they have kids too. And, you know, but these student athletes that we're really focused on, it's like, they don't need x-rays. It's like, let me show you 10 right off the top of my head where they are so thankful they got this done because they had no idea. So if you don't know what the structure looks like, that really can be the root cause of the entire problem, because the structure protects what?
Function.
The function, the nervous system. So the cord, the nerve roots. This is why you have two classes of people, even with your standard low back pain. And we've all know of somebody who's had a surgery that they wish they had never gotten. And we know of people who've had surgeries that's like, yeah, I was fine after that. The point of both of those is there was a structural issue that could have been prevented sooner that might have displaced even the fact that they needed to have surgery, because still a lot of those are not traumatic incidences. I would still say there's more non-contact from degeneration and disc disease and things like that. But what this does in an athlete as well is it changes the biomechanics in all of this force, and that they're doing all these moves and pushing weight and all this. It's just, there is so much there that we need to dial in and find and figure out so that, you know, and if the structure is as such, then we proceed. If there's things we need to fix there, then we fix and move forward. But the structure, like, I cannot look at Sam right now and be like, yeah, you have a 2-degree curve. You can't do that. You have to get the evaluation done. You have to look at the structure.
Yeah. And if you want to tie both of ours together, gut health and structure, there are many clients we see that just by adjusting their lumbar spine, their gut health improves.
And why is that? Parasympathetic nervous, parasympathetic trunks in the lumbar spine and the cervical spine, and so your parasympathetics are your rest and digest. Everybody knows what your sympathetics are. Everybody learns that. Tiger runs into the room. It's your fight or flight. Nobody talks about the rest and digest, and so 100%. Yep. And that's how we've had a lot of effect with people. What's one of the top two things that we hear that sometimes people don't tell us? Well, I'll give you 3: headaches, digestion, and cycle. When people start getting adjusted and we start looking structurally and taking pressure off of the nervous system because of the misalignments, putting pressure on the nerves, and you start to see those things change.
I would even throw sleep in there. And that's right along the lines of rest and digest if you're, controlling that nervous system.
Sleep.
Yep.
Yeah. What is the difference, since we've been talking about healing the body? What's the difference between someone who heals faster and someone who doesn't? Is it mindset? Is it something physically? Is it, metabolics?
One word, interference.
Yes, please.
Interference is basically when we have subluxation, there's going to be interference within the nervous system and how it can work. So by adjusting, it's going to help remove some of that interference, if not all of it, and function better.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, some people say, oh, it's age. And it's like, yes, there is some deterioration that happens during age. But I say it in the room all the time when we go over x-rays. We have the degeneration poster on the wall, right? So there's degeneration poster. It shows at least 3 stages of degeneration in normal. There's more. But every time I go through it, I point at the stage 2 degeneration. I say I have a 16-year-old gal here. And then I point at stage 1 and I say I have a 64-year-old gal here. And it's the truth. And it's not based on age. 64s at stage 1, 16-year-olds at stage 2. It's not based on age. Right. So, but the interference on the nervous system, the subluxation, the nervous system controls and coordinates every function of the body. Why we're not extending this to our athletes with how they perform with their coordination and balance and overall internal function, kidneys, adrenal glands. Like, there's so much there. Those nerve roots go out to give information to what to do. So the analogy that goes with this, being that I'm a car guy, I think most people can relate to this to some extent though, is you have spark plug wires. Say you have 8 cylinders on your car. Each cylinder has a spark plug wire. Pull one off. Does the car run? It does, but how efficient? Like, how much performance are you getting out of it? Are you getting 100%? Guaranteed not. So it's like, what are we going to do? Let's just change the whole motor. Let's just wait till it totally fails and we'll buy a new car. It's like, how about you just take that wire and go and restore function? Structure, decreased. Fixed structure, performance, increase.
Yeah.
Piece of cake.
Good.
I did just use that analogy on my own dad the other day. He was asking questions when we were away for vacation, and I was like, "Dad, he's a farmer." So he was like, "Oh," and I was like, "He's got it. He's got it."
I was just gonna say, there's other forms of interference too. Whether it's inflammation can be interference. There can be a chemical interference based on what you're eating and the chemical imbalances with hormones. That can be interference, which can relate back to the nervous system and the spine. Always does. There can be an injury that is not healing the way it needs to be because there's degeneration in the tissue as opposed to it just being an acute tear. And the degeneration over time is what's causing the interference for that injury to heal the right way. So it could be mental interference, the mindset, and we get into that kind of thing. And there's multiple things, but a lot of it does go right back into the nervous system and what's in the spine and houses the nervous system.
The last thing I'll say on this, and just bringing it back to a simple student athlete standpoint, injury prevention, injury healing, recurring injury, is when these kids get hurt, we are looking, no matter how strong you are, no matter how much you strengthen something, it's not a function of the stronger you are, the more injury prevention you have.
Right.
It does not work like that. If you strengthen something into an improper position, what good are you doing? So it's that house analogy. Foundation, there's a crack in the foundation. Put a little mud in there, put a little caulk in there. It'll be all right. And now that crack above the sliding glass door is back again. It's like, well, because you did the superficial, the strengthen, the lengthen, all those things, which can be good things to do and necessary. But you had an ACL injury. You have all this going on in the low back. You've got a curve in the lumbar spine. There's other things going on, but we're going to strengthen the quad, because that's what PT and that's what the research says to do. It's not a PT thing. That's what the PT research says to do. Not disagreeing with that, but there's a whole lot of other things going on. And if you strengthen something into an improper position, what good are you actually doing? And so that's another one of those things structurally and functionally that needs to be taken into account.
Speaking of injuries, we have in the last couple of months seen a couple athletes in here that have been injured. And you two have both had to determine whether they are ready to play in upcoming games or tournaments or just living life driving
Not our
their
funnest
cars.
thing to do.
Nope. But because you guys are truly one of the top people that do this in our area, break down the top 3 factors that you measure to determine an athlete's true readiness to playing again.
Structure, function, and gut health. No, I'm just kidding.
The big 3, if you will.
Yeah, when I answered this first time around, I said there's the physical component and the mental component, and it's like as we talked more through it, there's the relationship component too. So all 3 pillars that we have for the pure athlete are those 3 points that we check and make sure that they're ready for each stage of the rehab protocol as well as the return to sports, so that they're ready and the susceptibility to re-injuring or having another injury goes way down. And we've been able to do that at a faster rate than most people believe that we can. And it's just because of how we approach it, the protocols we use, the techniques we use, the technology we use, all of that goes into it. And then I think a big part of it is, now that we're talking relationship, is just the relationship and the trust that we have with our athletes and the parents, knowing that we're doing the right thing for them.
Yeah, and it's the hardest thing for us to do because, we say it all the time. And one thing that we mentioned, I'll mention here again, is morally, ethically, clinically. Like that's the 3 things that we fire off every time, because we know that most care like this can be very much watch and wait. Like, and this, any injury you have, sprained ankle, headache, maybe you got a scratch on your leg. It's like 4 to 6 weeks, you're out. Like just sit 4 to 6 weeks,
Splinter.
go do some banded exercises, ice it, rice it, slice it, dice it. And it's just like, hang on a second. But what we want to do is, we know that these injuries can create more of a mental issue with these kids. That's their identity. So we talk about morally, ethically, clinically. If we can bring them back faster, we will. if we can keep them on the field, between the lines, on the court, on the floor, whatever it is, whatever they play, if we can do that morally, ethically, clinically, we will. It's not the most fun thing in the world. Just like this morning, we've had 3 athletes in the past 7, 8, 9 days in the practice that have come in with concussions. And do you think we enjoy saying like, oh man, you've got camp in 3 days? I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. Like, that sucks on our part. However, with some of the things we're hearing, and as an athlete and as a parent, you have to take these things seriously when it comes to injury. Because I will tell you, if we're pulling you out, you're out. Like, this isn't watch and wait land here. Like, if we see it, or if we collaborate, whatever it is, if we see you're out, you're out.
Yeah.
However, when you have a sprained ankle that takes 4 to 6 weeks right off status quo, boom, and we bring someone back in 8 or 9 days, we have proof, and we've done it multiple times. And it's not just by chance. There's methodical things that we do. So, and
we've done a pretty good job of setting the expectations and showing them the time frames of what typically your return is going to look like, whether it's 4 to 6 weeks, whether it's 3 to 6 months, and also saying that we will get most of our athletes back faster than that time frame. So planting a little bit of a little hope in there, and I think that hope goes a long way too. We've talked about placebo on the podcast before, and I don't care with placebo. A placebo is something that's unexplained by science in a sense, or it hasn't been figured out on why you had that certain outcome.
Right.
And so a placebo is real, no matter what you say or how you believe it. But I've had many placebo effects on myself, as well as working with athletes and clients. And if it works, it works. Don't ask questions, really.
Yeah, that's when we talked about the superstitious side of it. And it's like, I had the same routine when I went up to the plate. However, I wasn't, it wasn't because I was superstitious. And it's the same with this. It's like the placebo effect. I don't care if it works or not. If you feel that's going to help you, then okay, then do that. Do what we're doing, and take your sugar pill with it. And if that helps you, make you think you're getting better faster, then do that. I have no problem with that. Right. However, we're not going to do the status quo thing, because that's what the status quo thing says to do when nothing's changing and everybody's begging for, where do I go? Who do I trust? How do I prevent? How do we do this differently? Yeah. And so we've got to change the game on this, and we are, and that's super cool to see.
Yep.
We're going to jump into some rapid fire, and there's no A, B, or C answers here, both of you.
That's not possible.
I'm going to make it possible today. No. Okay, so first one, ice bath or sauna?
Sauna.
Oh, nice, at the same time.
Better have a red light in it, too.
Yeah.
Not monochromotherapy. No, red light.
Yeah, what he said. Electrolytes or a protein shake post-workout?
Electrolytes.
Oh, you threw post in? Was that in the question last time?
Yes, it was.
Okay. It's electrolytes.
Electrolytes.
I can eat things. Yeah, for the protein post.
Yeah. Most overrated piece of gym equipment?
Yes. Anything free weighted.
So see you later, dumbbells.
Not saying it doesn't work. I'm just
overrated.
Just overrated.
Yeah.
I love cables and machines.
I like bands.
Yeah.
Oh, that's shock.
Make them dance.
Sure will.
It's a body weight.
Yeah. This is my favorite one. Best book every health conscious athlete should read.
Dr. Nate's book.
What is it called?
Just breathe. Eventually. It's not out yet. We're putting that out in the universe.
Yes. But for real, do you guys have an answer, or is it just finding something that works for you?
I think I reserved the right to answer this at another time, because a lot of what I read is business and entrepreneurial and things like, Kobe Mamba mentality and things like that. So
it's mental health conscious.
Yeah. So
I think what I've learned over the years I feel like I'm talking like I'm an old man, but when I'm talking to when I talk to the student athletes, I'm an old man because I look at their birthdays when they.
Kobe Bryant.
Oh, I'm old. What did I can't remember what I asked someone the other day, and I was just like, "You got to be kidding me! You don't know what this is." But finding something that can put you in the zone, and whatever that is, something that you enjoy reading, something that doesn't feel like a chore, something that you're craving to just go and pick up and actually read is whatever that is for you is the best thing for you.
I told you there's no short answers. The short answer is I'm going to reserve the right later because I don't really have a good one.
So you're pleading the fifth. Got it.
So
okay.
Until my book comes out, it's going to be my answer.
Yeah.
It's going to be my answer too. Most effective stress relief technique in under 5 minutes. So something that takes less than 5 minutes.
Breathing.
Yeah. Prayer.
There you go.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. After we talked about that last time, I was like, man, it's like, breathing, visualization, but it's just like you give me 5 minutes. We're talking
pray about
Lord at that point.
The Lord. I like it. What is the biggest red flag that someone's injury rehab protocol is not working here in the office?
It's not tailored specifically to them. And they just got it off the internet or saw someone doing it and watched the TikTok and said, "Oh, I got hamstring weakness. I should do that."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you're handed a batch full of papers that were freshly printed off a printer that were from a database that everybody else has gotten to, but a good structural evaluation, if there's no history of a good structural evaluation, chances are it's not ideal for them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, they only tore their hamstring. What's that attached to? Your sits bone,
your butt bone,
and then crosses the knee joint.
Yeah.
So what's happening above and below that? And we're worried about a hamstring.
Yeah. Listen to the docs, you guys. Last one, and this is my favorite one of this round.
Before you get into that,
no,
Anatomy Trains. It's a nerdy book, but
there you go.
If you want to understand how the whole body works together, as an athlete, Anatomy.
That's good.
Ooh,
that's good.
I like that answer. Okay.
Look at him coming out of the woodwork.
I know.
I knew you had it in him.
Last one. Again, like I said, this is my favorite one.
That time you contribute.
No, God. We're carrying this podcast ourselves, Dr. Nate.
I'm just going to breathe over here.
Just going to breathe. What is your guys' personal mission behind what you do, and how do you live it out every day? It's going to be our last one.
Yeah. I mean, look at the website. Protect and build student athletes better. I mean, there's a short answer.
Mm-hmm.
I have my whole story that I can dive into on that. But when you experience something that I've experienced, I'm not the only one. There's plenty of people that have. And then coming into a way of, being pushed into this limelight, it's been years of what the hell am I trying to do? Like, what am I on this earth for? What is this place here for? Mm-hmm. What do I love and enjoy to do? What impact do we want to have long lasting? And it's with all the injury rates going up, with all of these kids and seeing them jump out windows and put on medications, and parents don't know where to go and who to trust, and they hate all of that. I just want to have the opportunity to protect and build student athletes better. And if we don't have it here, being humble enough and vulnerable enough and honest enough to be like, we've collaborated with people to make sure you get what you need as fast as you need it and want it, or just flat need it. If you need to go here, we have it for you. So protect and build student athletes better.
Yeah. I've always wanted to provide the best quality care. And this is something that I'll get upset with myself if I realize that someone I'm working with is not getting 100% me and the best version of me with the recommendations and the knowledge base that I have and what I know they should be getting and what they should be doing. So providing them with that is always been my goal and my mission to because I know that one, I can do it just as good, if not better than anybody else, in this area, if not, in the United States or world, because I do keep up with, what works, what's, recent in the research, as well as what's in best interest for the athlete.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's good.
That's all I have for you guys today. I have more, but I won't ask them all today.
You saying we're out of time, Sam?
Yes. No.
Yeah. Well, that's good. We can definitely, we'd already planned about doing a part 2 anyway. And so we can keep firing away. I kind of like these right now as we, continue to get more feedback. We've always got people coming in here asking us to talk on things. So we've got a list of things we can go through too. But I like this. It gives people a little bit of an insight. Biased. Yeah, maybe. Different. Yeah. 100%. And that's okay. And that's why we want to put it out there. But if you guys have any questions, any of you guys listening or, share this out with somebody, ask us questions because we'd love to answer it. And also too, with a lot of these things, having the understanding that we in the healthcare world, we don't have it all figured out.
Right.
And if you find somebody who says they do, or we've got to do it this way, or this is how it's been done for the 50 plus years, that should also be a little bit of a flag in your head. I'm not saying that all of those statements are wrong. That's not what I'm saying. However, it should raise a little bit of an eyebrow and tell me more. Like, ask the questions. But there's a shift happening. Even, when we talked to Dr. Trent Nestler, that's why we kind of call it return to sport, not return to play. We ain't playing. We ain't playing with your health. We ain't playing with your family. We're not going to play with your kids' health. And so doing all these things from a little bit of what looks like a different avenue is a really good thing. And people are starting to see it. So stay tuned next time as we go through. We're just going to hammer part 2 next time.
Yep.
All right. We'll do this again next week. Stay tuned. If you have any questions, let us know. Otherwise, have a great rest of your week. See ya.